It's the microphone at the bottom. I was talking to class. All right. It's good to have you on. Long as you can hear me, you can hear me. Can you put a one in the chat? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me, because I can't hear you. It has you on mute. Let me see if I can. Hey, good evening. Good evening. There's a microphone and then there's a camera. I see your video. The microphone has like a red slash through it. If you click it, it'll unmute it. Okay. Can you hear me? Just put a finger up if you can hear me, because I can see you. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. That's all that matters. We ready to rock and roll. We'll figure it out as we go. I'm preparing to share the screen now. We're going to move into our SEMA. I'm happy to have you on today. Um, we are recording as well. So if you ever need to see this again or review, we will have a review for you. So that chapter one was eyelash extension history and career. Just a little intro. Chapter two is going to talk about eyelash anatomy and physiology. It's the stuff that you would never think about, but it's the reason why we have our license on today, why you have to have a license on today for eyelashes. Here's the main reason: we got to know what we're doing, what we're touching. You have to know exactly what are the eyelashes made up of. This is what we call the anatomy, the bones, the meat and potatoes of your licensure. Okay. There are a few videos, but I am going to go into the ebook, chapter two of the ebook. And chapter two of the ebook, of course, if you've been on your portal, you know it's available. We always do our check in questions. But let's dive a little deeper the anatomy and physiology of the eye and eyelash. I'm gonna bookmark this. There are some highlighted areas as well. We normally people see the outside, the outer appearance, but we must understand there are so many moving compartments when it comes to the anatomy. And anatomy is simply um, we're talking about the pieces of the eye, the eyelid that bring everything together. Um, Other things that are going on. What are eyelashes? What are the types of hair? What are the skins, the pockets around it? And so that's what we're going to dive into today and just have a really good understanding. All highlighted areas are areas for you to study. Okay. It says that your first objective says explain why eyelash technicians need knowledge. Why do you need knowledge? You got to have a great understanding of what you're doing if you're going to perform it on a client. We have to understand what we're doing. Okay. A part of our job, we not only make the clients beautiful, but we also educate them. Okay. We need to be educated on what products to use, when to use them. Also, when someone can get a service and when they cannot get a service. All right. So it's in the purple that's highlighted. It says eyelash and eyebrow services affect the orbital region of the head. Okay, that's the center region of the head. It's a complex area. It has very sensitive organs of the body, and it is central to human expression and communication. So, what that simply means is we're dealing with the eyelashes and eye area. A lot of people communicate with their eyes. Okay, so and it's a very sensitive area. So, since we know it's a very sensitive area, we got to learn all we can do, all we can learn to make sure that nothing damages those inner organs that are in that center area of our head. We know that the skin is the largest organ. Let's take note. The skin is the largest organ, but also the eyes. The eyes are an organ as well. Okay, the eyes are an organ as well. So we have to make sure that those eyes are always protected in whatever service we do. Yay, we're unmuted. Yay.
Yes, I will shout until I get it.
You got it. I'm glad
Yes,
to have you. Glad to have you. You're
yes,
good.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. You know how to mute it again? You know how to
Yes, ma'am. Or I
oh
just turn it down. Okay.
let me make
Can you
sure.
hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, good. Let's see.
Mhm.
Let's see. There we go. Okay, since we're going to be working around, where is it? Where is it? Since oh, where is it? Left off. Let me stop share. Okay, since we're going to be working around this eye area, it's already telling us that's a very sensitive area. We have to make sure that the organs in this area are protected. Whenever you see the word orbital, okay, Orbital, that's this first term right here, first line. That means something around the eye that has something to do with the eye, okay? It's essential for human expression and communication. People express, they send messages, they can do all of that around the eyes. Be very careful. You do not want to permanently damage anyone and affect their communication, okay, their eyesight or anything. So it's telling us be very sensitive around these particular areas. All right. It says knowledge of the structures and functions of the eyes, eyelids, eyelashes, and eyebrows. That's our main thing we finna work on. Okay. I need you to understand the ins and outs of the eyes, the eyelids, the eyelashes, and the eyebrows. Okay. It's gonna be critical for you to understand this because we must be able to communicate the what, when, and why to our clients. Okay. We gotta be able to communicate that. We got to have a good understanding. So, although the technique of it may seem easy and comes easy to us, we know how to make people feel amazing, but the technique does not trump the knowledge. So, we got to make sure we carry the knowledge with us as well. And I really do believe you're going to be an amazing lash specialist with the knowledge and the know how in your hands to really serve our clients. Okay. Really serve the clients. And highlight it in yellow. Okay. Some just so we have a thorough understanding why you should have a thorough understanding of the eye. The more lash technicians understand about eye structure and function, you can provide a safer service, a better experience for your client. The more you know, the better your business becomes. Okay. The more you know, the better you perform. And then when we look at failing to work with the client's anatomy, when you don't look at the structure of your client's eyes, eyebrows, eyelids, and you go off and do your own thing, it may be a problem. Okay. It may be a problem because in this course, we want to teach you how to use what you know versus what the client is dealing with, what the client has. We want to make them beautiful. We don't want to go the opposite way. We want to keep them in a more attractive mode. We don't want to take away from the features they already have. Okay. And also having a great knowledge base is knowing what type of adhesive to use at any time. There's more than one type of adhesive. Okay. You got about three types of adhesive slash glue. When I say adhesive, I mean glue. You have about three types of adhesives that are very general, okay? And every person does not get the same. And so we have these three types that kind of put people in categories because you have some individuals that cannot stand stronger fumes or stronger smells from lash adhesive. Then you have individuals that are allergic to certain ingredients, and so there's an adhesive that removes that key component to hardening. Remove that is removed, and then you have more of the traditional lash glue that is more firmer. Okay. And everybody, I'm telling you now, does not fall into just using one adhesive. That everybody who works on the clients, you should have at least three adhesives on hand, different ones to service a multitude of clients. Okay. Um, and as I said before, you want to do eyelash services that are modified for the structures of the client face, which means if you look around Memphis or surrounding areas and you just do the trend, like what is the popular trend, that trend may not be popular for this person's facial shape. And so now, as a lash technician, you should start modifying the styles of lashes that you do based on the features, okay, based on the size of the face, the shape of the face, based on if the eyes are close set or they're wide set, are the brows close, are they wide set. And so based on those features is how you will also design, I said design, the lash pattern. Okay. We also need to learn anatomy and physiology because one of the key components of learning this tough part of your course is you got to understand hair grows and hair falls out. Hair grows and hair falls out. There is a system to how the hair grows. I want to teach you that system. Okay. It grows, it pauses, and it falls out. For every client that we do lashes on, we have to find their cycle. Where are they on their natural cycle? Are they in the growing phase? Are they in the pausing phase? Or are they in the falling out phase? Once we find out where each client is, then we can determine how often they should be getting their service. See? A lot of people say, oh, come every 2 weeks, come every 2 weeks, come every 3 weeks. Get this, that has become a standard. But if you are really a true lash technician, a beauty professional, you're going to find out the growth pattern, the growth schedule, how well this client hair grows. When does it grow the most? When does it slow down? You're going to map that out. And that's going to tell you when this person naturally will need to come to you more, the seasons that they come to you less, what glue are you going to be using. There's questions that you can ask that'll help take you over into a good place. I'm going to bookmark this. The questions will define also a lot of things you may be doing out of place and put some things into perspective. Let's look at the anatomy of the eye. Now, this is figure 2-1. Okay. The eye is made up of several structures. We need to learn about these structures, okay? It includes the eyelids and the eyebrows, okay? And the eyelashes. So we're going to learn about this. We look at this picture here when we talk anatomy and physiology, and this is what this week is all about. You learning these interstructures. All right. So you have a traditional eye and you see the lashes. All right. Okay. And I want you to look very closely. If you look at the eyelid at the top and you see the three hairs, all right, right under there, there's a little area that we call conjunctiva. Okay, conjunctiva. It's on the top and it's on the bottom. It's like a little suction. Okay, the one on the bottom is bulbar, bull, B-U-L bar, B-A-R, bulbar conjunctiva. Okay, and it's going to be very important because we're going to talk about tears. It's going to be very, very important. Okay, palpebral conjunctiva, that's at the top. It's right under the eyelid. Okay, right under the eyelid. And we look at the components, the structures of the eye itself, the eyeball. You have the pupil, the cornea, and the iris. The pupil, the cornea, and the iris. Okay, behind that, you will have the lens. All right. So making sure we understand the structure, the anatomy of the eye. All right. Let's go a little deeper. Okay. When we talked about the top and the bottom, right under that skin, the lashes, conjunctiva, it's a thin, clear, moist mucous membrane that coats the inner surface of the eyelids and outer surface of the lid. Okay. It's very important. Okay. This is important because as you blink, it lubricates the eyes. It lubricates the eyes. Okay. And it protects the eyes. It has a function. It's going to prevent germs from getting in the eye. Okay. And so you may say, "Oh, I got tears and I'm not even crying." Those two little components on the top and bottom of the eye, they are lubricating the eye. Okay, they're making sure the eye doesn't get dry, and they're protecting the eye. Okay, making sure germs do not enter the eye. Then we have the cornea. The cornea covers and protects the iris, the pupil, the lens, anterior chambers, all the components of the eye. It's very sensitive to touch. We don't need to be touching it. That's why when you're doing your lashes, they say with your tools, you make sure your tools are really held in your hands correctly because you could poke out the client's eye. When they say poke out, we're meaning damaging the cornea, damaging the iris, things of that nature. Okay. We look at the eyelids. These are glands. They help you blink. All right. Blinking is very important. It's going to keep the eye lubricated. Okay. Again, keep it moisturized. And the blinking activates the tears that keeps it moisturized, keeps it lubricated. All right. The blinking activates that. All right. And so at the end of the day, it's good to blink. All right, the eyelids have they protect the eye and they make it well to blink. Okay, the eyelids also are housed to eyelash follicles. All right, these follicles are on the top and the bottom. All right, and it produces sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands are sebaceous oil. The oil that is produced from the glands is called sebum, and this oil helps also lubricate. Okay, it holds a place. It keeps those tears. Sometimes you can see some tears right at the base of the eye. Okay, it keeps those tears from falling on the cheeks. It's just like a hollow area, but it has sebaceous glands. Here's what we're talking about. Now, eyelash here, and then you have these additional glands that are around the eyelashes. This is what I want you to think about as well. I want to make sure you can see. I stopped share. I want to make sure I was sharing this screen. Here we go. Okay, making sure we're on the same page. Here we go. Bookmarking this area as well. All right, so we have the gland of Zeus, um, and a Borian gland, and we have the eyelashes here. Okay, although these are eyelashes that we see on the outer part, you see how the glands are connected. Okay, and then you have this gland here that has sebaceous gland produces the oil to help lubricate. Um, and anywhere that you have hair, you're going to have glands that are going to be attached. So every time we move this hair, oil is going to secrete, oil is going to come out. Here's the thing: when we have lashes that are too long or too heavy, it puts weight on these natural lashes, and that weight really there's hardly anything holding this lash together. Okay, and so that weight will cause this hair to fall out. We can't do lashes unless we have some hair. So we got to make sure we're cleaning what we have. What the good Lord done left us with, we're cleaning it and we're taking good care of it to make sure it stays strong, it stays healthy, because that's what we need to really take our lashing to the next level. We're defining eyelashes as you see here. There's three highlighted colors. Hairs that grow. Eyelashes are defined as hairs that grow at the edge of the eyelids. Okay, each eye, each human has about 75 to 80 lashes on the lower eyelid and 90 to 160 on the top. All right, you got about 75 to 80 on the bottom on average, and then you have 90 to 160 on top. Okay, it definitely looks like a broom is sweeping, but those eyelashes are there to protect the eye, protects the cornea, the pupil, the iris. Okay, and now today we use them for beautification purposes. Okay, when we look at the brows, okay, there are arched lines of hair. They grow on the skin along the brow bone or above the eye socket. Okay, that hair is hair that you will learn to tame as well. We will learn how to tint it. We're going to do tint, brow tint, and you'll also learn how to relax it with brow lamination. Okay, so they won't be so puffy and things of that nature. Okay, you'll learn about eye and eyelid shapes. One thing about eye and eyelid shapes, based on, hold on one more. Okay, based on the facial shape or the desired style, you will learn how to do lashes based on what your client is working with. This is why it's good to have a license, because usually you'll have people that will do the same thing on everybody, but you definitely are supposed to look at that person's facial shape. Look at their features, such as their lips, their eyes, their eyelids, their forehead, and you will help design the type of lashes that they need, especially the length of lashes that they need. And it will be based on these few things. Okay. So that's something we're already looking at. Is that based on the eyelids, is the type of lashes that the size lashes that I'm going to use. Here, when you look at almond eye shape, okay, these is something that's free, wispy, not too heavy in certain places, longer on the outer corner, shorter in the inner corner. So you kind of see this first picture here of without lashes, and then you see the second picture of those contour lashes. Okay, hold on one moment while I move to the next screen. All right. So almond eyes, you want to go with something wispy, longer on the outer corners, smaller in the inner corners. We look at round shaped eyes. Okay. You're looking at the eye width, the eye height. The eyes appear larger and brighter. They really stick out. Okay. To accentuate the eye, go for a long tapered lashes that are longer on the end. So we're back with more of a detailed lash on the end. You can go with a little curl, but you want to have it minimized, and you want to minimize the curl in the inner. Okay, and you don't want to have the same length all the way across. So you would definitely do some customizing to this eye. Now, a downturned eye is a slight drop on the outer corners. All right. So it doesn't go up, but it's a drop. All right. So it goes downward. Your corners of your eyes go downward. Okay. And they sit lower. They prefer to use a D or double D. It's going to bring the illusion and open up that eye again. Almost it's close to a droopy eye, but we want to raise it up to kind of bring some excitement in. So you do not want to have the same shape and then you want to have something with a little more curl to it as well. Upturned eyes, where actually it just looks like the corners are up instead of down. Okay. You want to have a balance. So this would be good if we did use a consistency in size. Bring the curl down to a B or C. You don't have to go so you don't go so curvy. Okay. A mono lid. This is a lid that is tight. It has no crease. Okay. No crease. All right. Most of the times you have individuals, you have to give the illusion of a crease. That's why they would choose like a L or a L plus curl. Okay, you have to get the illusion of a crease the same way you would have to crease it for eyeshadows. You would have to do the lashes to make sure that not too big, but you also make them to where they're consistent and it gives the illusion that that eye has broken up. A hooded where your eyelid is kind of heavy. It gives that droopy look. Okay, it covers the crease. What we need to do, you can use longer lashes to kind of camouflage that droopy look, that larger crease look. Okay, you want to minimize that droop, and so you can do larger lashes. Okay. It says to minimize a lazy eye, use a lash that is a bit more curled than the other eye. So you'll flip it up a little bit and give the illusion that both eyes are even. So far, we're in 4 questions in chapter 2. All right. And we have to look at eye spacing. So here's the thing. Yes, we learned about the culture, where lashes come from, the excitement of it, how where it's going. But in this particular chapter, it's taking us through learning some of the basics. Some of it may be boring at some point, but you have to have an understanding of what the eye, the compartments, the structures of the eye. Also, the things that most people don't look at is the shape of the eye, how far are the eyes apart, the droopiness of the eyelid versus the eyelid being monolid, very, very tight. And so here we're continuing our study and we're looking at the eye spacing of the face. Okay, let's look at it. The spacing, where the eyes are sitting, prominent, protruding eyes. Okay, these eyes appear, they look like they bulge out of the eye socket. All right, so they look a little further on profile. All right, you're gonna change the size. You're gonna go with short to medium instead of longer. Okay, short to medium. Your deep set eyes, where it look like the eyes are deeper in. Okay, they're sunken in, like they're more so in the skull. You're gonna go with a wispy look. Okay, wispy look. Close set eye closer together instead of further apart. Okay, we're gonna go for longer length on the ends. Longer lengths on the ends. The eyes look like they're wider. They're wider apart. Okay. Um, and we it just looks like you could put a whole nother eye in the middle. You can put 4 fingers, whole little space in the middle. And so we want to go with we want to offset the extra space by using longer lashes, and that seems to be a key for a lot of individuals. Longer lashes. Okay. Closing out this component with facial shapes. Okay, I call it shop door. SHOPDOR. SHOPDOR. All right. It's good for you to understand the facial shapes. We have oval, which is your standard, your average facial shapes. Just about any lash style you can put on a client who's oval. You have a person that has a round facial shape. Okay. They're going to need longer lashes, all right, to come from their eyes, people just being attracted to just them eyes just sticking out. Okay, and you can do longer lashes in the center. Doesn't necessarily have to be on the ends. And looking at square, someone that has a square face, that means they have a potential for hard lines. And as a woman, we want to have our lines softened. So as you have your female clients come in, you know you're looking for softer lines, more feminine looking. Okay. And so when you're dealing with someone that has more of a square face, a sharper line, we use longer lashes in the center of the eye. So here we go. We're going to come from the round, come from the square, longer lashes in the center, and then we could span out around the sides like a fan. Triangle. Now, triangle facial shape is going to be a small forehead and a larger chin area. Okay, you want to create more width in the forehead, so we want to be wider in the forehead, and we want to minimize the chin area. Okay, oblong. Oblong facial shapes reminds you of a rectangle where you still have some firm edges. Again, our clients want to become feminine, okay? They want to wear a softer look. And if their facial shape has, a harshness to it, especially around the jawline, can be wide, face could be long, and you can have those hard points. Many people cover them up with bangs. They bring some curls around their neck area, things of that nature. But when it comes to eyelashes, okay, longer extensions on the corners, longer extensions on the corners. You're gonna keep it feminine, keep it flirty. A diamond facial shape, that means you have a small forehead and your client has a small forehead and a small chin area, but they may have a wider cheek area. All right. So what we want to do, we want to enhance both the chin and also the forehead area so that lashes can be seen. Lashes can be seen. We want to make sure they're evenly across. All right. We're looking at the last one, heart. One of my favorites. It's a wide forehead, never chin line. It is the basics a lot of times for still wispy looks, still consistent in size. One and two, great components. Okay. We don't have anything highlighted on that stage. Let's look at the stages of hair growth. I do think I have an additional video that I'm going to pass along as well. When we look at stages of hair growth, this is what I want you to study. I'm highlighting this area, all of this highlighted in yellow. Okay. Um, Tomorrow's Friday. I think I'm gonna do a video tomorrow. I'm gonna do a video tomorrow, and I'm gonna send it to you. And because I want to go over the eyelash stages. Okay, I want to go over the eyelash stages. Continue reading page 29. You're gonna finish chapter 2. This is recorded as a study session. Let me go here. Let me stop share.